What is your name?
My name is Tiffany. I have tried cannabis, mushrooms, and MDMA. So I think I first tried mushrooms, I was probably 35 or 34, which was nice. For a long time I kind of resisted them, or I felt kind of like nervous about them, so it was kind of later because I knew kind of I had like this resonant like idea of the people that take mushrooms, and I wasn't sure that that's where I wanted to go or who I wanted to be, or and I definitely wasn't into partying in that sort of way. So yeah, later on. Mushrooms were presented by a dear friend who had tried them and was preaching the gospel of mushrooms. Actually, yeah, it was a couple of them, and they were just like, okay, this is what to expect, and this is who I feel like I am now. And they were like really super close friends, and I could feel the safety of like their experience, or like I could feel like that it was good and it was okay, and that my curiosity was feeling a little bit more like safe, having had someone that's that close to me be like, no, you'll like this, and this is going to be a homecoming for you in a way. The first time, was with these friends that were just like so welcoming with it that we curated our space. We did it in our home. We had like little altars everywhere. My husband set up altars of these like beautiful like shrines and like little moments that we could have like around the whole house, and just really we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible. We had fruit like available. We had like our little mushrooms were put on these beautiful little plates with there were four of us, and we each had like little symbols on the plate that were like, okay, this is me, this is mine, this is what's coming in with me. And it was just very special. We created a space that felt just very safe, and I mean, I think in general I tend to be someone that really needs like as much safety and security as possible. It's like definitely like a high need for me, like it is for most of us, but I know myself in this way where it's like, let's make sure all of these things really feel like good, and we made sure that they did as much as we could, and yeah, these friends just and us, we took them, and yeah, I don't remember what your question was.
So what was the experience like?
Yeah, but we curated our space. We did it in our home. We had like little altars everywhere. My husband set up altars of these like beautiful like shrines and like little moments that we could have like around the whole house, and just really we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible. We had fruit like available. We had like our little mushrooms were put on these beautiful little plates with there were four of us, and we each had like little symbols on the plate that were like, okay, this is me, this is mine, this is what's coming in with me. And it was just very special. We created a space that felt safe. I tend to be someone that really needs like as much safety and security as possible. It's like definitely like a high need for me, like it is for most of us, but I know myself in this way where it's like, let's make sure all of these things really feel like good, and we made sure that they did as much as we could, I think I was really noticing, what I really remember now is this experience of noticing myself and how different I felt in comparison to other people. Like I was watching like my partner have this creative explosion of like who who he was. Like he was like just going like full out. And one of the other friends was like, you know, kind of cocooning and ended up in the tub. And one of the other friends was like kind of holding space and like creating, like also like he had decided, you know, he was gonna be like this safe holder for us. And so I was really feeling, you know, everyone's energy and really knowing that like I wanted to move away. I needed to like find a different space, and that everyone was a little bit much for me, and that it was like enjoyed seeing what was happening, but then I needed to not like be with it. And so, but I'd also, you know, it was starting to hit my body, and I was like, I just need to lay down. I just need to like be in the ground. And it took me a long time to get back to my room, which is not very far away. And I remember I was like on my back, like slowly, like with my feet, just kind of inch by inch trudging along, and then like really enjoying the tiles as I was like moving across like the kitchen, and just kind of being like, oh my God, everything is like so abundantly alive. Everything is so gorgeous. Like, why do I miss this stuff? And I was just like, you know, as I'm like kind of making my way to find my own space, just like really being enraptured by just the beauty that was surrounding me. You know, in the experience too, I kept finding myself kind of working with this theme that was something that, I mean, I feel like since then has really been something that I'm continually like healing and working through, is like noticing how everyone is doing, but really like learning how to take care of me, and kind of touching into like the differences there, and like letting what I need kind of become what I really honor and take care of, and like kind of convert my responsibility towards. And so, you know, part of me was really just wanting to keep making sure that my partner was okay, or that like everyone was okay, but really like also needing to be moved, you know, on my own. So I was kind of having this in and out sort of wanting to investigate, you know, this outside world, and then really wanting to just let this introspective thing that was happening, this unfolding beauty that was wanting to hold me, be something that I would give myself to. And it did, and it was like a very gentle experience for that. Like, I think in general, like the neuroses that I kind of had been living with at the time, and I definitely know that I'm still neurotic in like my own signature way, like that is like you know, this, you know, inherited way of like all these cultures that make up who I am, you know, that sort of neurosis, rather than like being really overly fidgety or concerned about everyone, you know, and letting kind of just who I am kind of learn how to shine, rather than being like overly having to touch into others to know if I'm okay, which I think is kind of part of that awareness thing that was growing in that time. Yeah, there's a lot of like that check-in stuff, you know what I mean? Like checking on each other, which I think, I mean, is really sweet, but there's also something about that I think is like learning how to trust too, right? Like, can I just trust that where you're at is okay, and that I don't need to, me being there or controlling or any way of like, there's nothing I can really do, you know, which I think is really healing for me to like kind of encounter of like, okay, even if I'm here or not, like it's out of my hands, you know what I mean? Which I think, yeah, is a nice, gentle, again, melting away of this force of protection that wants to, control as much as possible to ensure, you know, safety. Yeah, I've come to like enjoy looking forward to like having a journey, as kind of this reconnection to that like self that is what is the word I want to use? Protected. I mean, it's not quite enough, but that is just whole, feeling united to things. So there's since then there's been those moments where I'm like, okay, this is time for that like reconnect. This is time for that like that renewing, that charge up with me and God and the cosmos and this thing that we're doing here, you know, because I think I see the difference between like the Maya, this illusion, this world that, you know, we create versus the one that we actually live in, and finding ways to like unify, you know, these stories. I think it's really important that it does start on this interior world where you're like you don't have control, you know, of what is going to come up or be shown, which is a really vulnerable thing. But to let that be a trust exercise, you know, of like, why are we here anyway, sort of deal, and like letting Creator or Earth, you know, this mother energy kind of just re-meet you and affirm, you know, your place in all of this, you know, and that it is you, you know, too, and just letting that beauty kind of be remembered, you know. A large part of me is always curious and driven by this why question, like what are we doing, and why would we be here to do what we're doing right now? And I think as I've learned more through my experiences, that it is just like really important for us to kind of remember our roots, you know, as part of this whole thing, that we do belong here, and living like we belong here is something that the story, this illusion that we inherited, you know, likes to have us forget. So it's really sweet, you know, to take time. Sometimes we'll plan them for, you know, around solstice or season changes, and as like kind of a way to also let ourselves be part of this change that is also kind of, you know, unfolding. Yeah. I want to like say exuberantly yes, but I don't think it's an exuberant yes. And I think that's because I want to honor it as a medicine. You know what I mean? That you don't really get to decide. You know what I mean? You don't get to decide what's going to happen when you take them, and also like you do after you take them have to like integrate and decide like what you're going to take with you. So like, you know, that party vibe with the mushrooms, like that can be fun for that moment, you know, but for people that are like really peering into their soul, you know, it can have life-changing effects for sure. Like still, if you're willing to be like honest enough, you know, about that. And so for me, my experience with psychedelics have all been, I mean, incrementally, like really helpful for the sense of stability in myself, you know, in my awareness journey of who I am, and nothing that's been like shattering my world in a way where I'm like, okay, now I'm just a different person. But it's been like a very easeful and welcome sort of hello into who I am, which I think I would resist something that I feel like, oh, it's going to change me completely. You know what I mean? And I think I would want someone to know that too. It's like, it can be easy. It can be sweet, you know, these little ways that you get to see yourself, you know, and let that awareness grow, that this medicine will, if you want it, offer that to you.